Shalom, Israel, shalom. Brother Abel, royal regime of Yahushua. First and foremost, all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High Yahweh, B'Shem Yahushua, B'Shem Rakakadash. And today's lesson, okay, which I titled this one, The Great Deceiver. Okay, the Great Deceiver. And the greatest deception in the world will be Satan putting himself in a position to be worshipped as God within this earth. Okay, and that's exactly what he's done. Okay, through the sorcery and devices of Esau, Edom, the so-called white man that he uses within this earth to push his agenda. Okay, he's been set up on a spiritual pedestal to be worshipped as God ignorantly. Okay, the majority of the world ignorantly worships the devil without even realizing it. Under the pretense of what they've pushed up on the world, the greatest religion or world's religion, Christianity, specifically slave plantation Christianity, the way it was taught or presented to the children of Israel, our people, is not the purest form or the pure form of the gospel. It hasn't been taught the way it's supposed to be taught within the earth. But in the last days, this is what's happening. The truth of the gospel is being taught right and is ushering in the kingdom. However, from the beginning, okay, there's always been an obstacle or adversary, okay, that the God of this world, this earth, okay, Satan, the devil himself, which would have an agenda to get back at the Lord, to deceive his people, and to be worshipped as God himself. So that's what we're looking at today, okay? We're going to go through several precepts just showing you the great deceiver and his agenda. Let's look at the characteristics of this devil first. Let's start off, we go into St. John 10 and 10. Get this one. You want to get St. John 8:44 for me. So St. John chapter 10, verse 10. The thief cometh not, but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that ye may have life and that ye may have it more abundantly. So the thief, this thief is referring to Satan, the spiritual demon himself. Okay, he comes to kill, steal, and destroy, but also an extension of his physical counterpart, Esau, Edom, within the earth. Okay, this is their MO. The thief come to kill, steal, and destroy. Get that, St. John 8, what I told you, 10:44? 8:44.
8:44.
Go ahead.
St. John chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth, because there is no truth in him. When there is no truth in him, when he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own.
You see that? A murderer from the beginning. The characteristics of this devil, a murderer. And when he speak, he's speaking not of the truth. He's speaking a lie. There's no truth in him. Okay, so as we're clearly seeing, as we titled, the Great Deceiver, his MO, to lie, kill, steal, and destroy, and to deceive. This is 2 Corinthians chapter 4. I'm going to pick it up at 3. Second Corinthians chapter 4, verse 3. If our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, in whom the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of a Mashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. So see, this is letting us know once again right here, if our gospel, mean the truest form of this gospel, if it's hid or it seems to be a mystery like it is to the majority of the world, it's telling you why they can't get the truth. The God of this world, talking about Satan, the devil himself, has blinded the minds, meaning they would believe the narrative, they would believe the world's religion that's been pushed up on the world. Okay, your false religions, such as your Christianities, your Islams. Okay, he would be worshipped ignorantly by the masses without even realizing it. Okay, take bits and pieces of the truth and mix it with a bunch of lies. Okay, that's the world's brand of version of Christianity that the majority of so-called believers follow. See, and this is why when we bring out scripture straight from the Bible, we teach it the correct way, it seems to be such a mystery. What gospel is that? They completely lost to it. Well, that's what that's talking about. This is the reason why. I'm going to read it one more time, verse 3. But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost, and who the God of this world had blinded the minds of them which believe not. See, the God of this world, they under the spell, the illusion, the sorcery of Satan to believe a lie. Lest, this is the only way you wake up from that lie, the only way you could come into the truth. Lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of Yahweh, should shine unto them. See, so unless the Lord decides to have mercy and let his light, meaning the true understanding, prick your spirit, that's the only way. Other than that, the majority of the world is still under the lies and delusion of this devil. This is 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 24. One moment. Second Timothy chapter 2, verse 24. I'll start at 23. But foolish and unlearned questions avoid, knowing they do gender strifes. And the servant of the Lord must not strive, but be gentle unto all men, apt to teach, patient, in meekness, instructing those who oppose themselves. If Yahweh pre-adventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. See that? So this is the only way the Lord can wake you up from that delusion or wake you up from the lie. Okay, it's up to the Lord. Like we just read here, I'm going to start at 25 again. In meekness, instructing those who oppose themselves, which is the job of a prophet or the job of the teacher, to instruct the masses, to instruct the people. In meekness, instructing those who oppose themselves, if Yahweh pre-adventure will give them repentance to the acknowledging of the truth. All right. But other than that, the majority of the world and masses is still under the delusion of the Great Deceiver. This false brand of Christianity or just false information in general. Information that does not, is basically contrary to the doctrine of the Lord. That's what that's going into. All right. We're going to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 now. 2 Thessalonians 2:1. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1. Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, and by your gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letters from us, as the day of Hamashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there shall come a falling away first, and that man of sin shall be revealed, the son of perdition. Okay, talking about Satan, the devil, and his physical counterpart within the earth, Esau, Edom. Okay, that man of sin is being revealed through the truth, through the teachers, through the prophets to break down this Bible. Verse 4, this is going into his MO or his characteristics, who opposeth and exalt himself above all that is called Yahweh, or that is worship. So he, as Yahweh, sitteth in the temple of Yahweh, showing himself that he is Yahweh. See that? He wants to be worshipped as God. Verse 5, remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things. And now you know what withholdeth, that he might be revealed in his time. And he's being revealed now. Okay, the world is finding out who Esau, Edom is, the so-called white man. They're finding out the truth of this Bible, who the children of Israel are. Everything is being revealed, including this devil, his deception is being revealed real time. Verse 7, for the mystery of iniquity do already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. See that? So him who he's coming, his word is letting you know who gets his power, his technology, his understanding, who it comes from. it's after the workings of Satan, the devil himself. So even if you look at this technology that's out in the last days, okay, a lot of this new AI stuff, Neuralink, brain chips, all this stuff that comes across as being good in the beginning. It seems like it's miracles, okay? This is technology is able to make the blind see again. It's able to make the lame walk, and all these things that appear on the surface, okay? It appears to be a good narrative, okay? But this is what it means when it says who's coming is after the workings of Satan. At the end of the day, okay, this is all leading toward a much more sinister, wicked agenda, all leading up to the MTOB, okay, mark of the beast, which is coming up, soon in the future. All right, let's from now want to get Isaiah 14. Isaiah chapter 14, let's pick it up verse 12. Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay, and how did this man weaken the nations? Through his sorcery, his lies, his philosophy. Okay, spiritually through Christianity. Okay, philosophy and other information that's contrary to the Lord, just through his science, his philosophy. Okay, verse 12 again. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend to heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also up on the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. See, this is him boasting, showing you his deception. His whole goal is to be worshiped above the stars of God, as we just read, to be worshiped as God. Verse 14. I will descend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. See that? That's this man's mindset. He wants to be like the Most High. Okay, he's trying to put himself in a position to where, okay, well, anything that the Lord could do, we can now do for ourselves. We could create life. We could make it rain. We have technology to go to the moon. Basically, they're trying to say, put themselves in a position where the Creator is none and void, because of their technology and their science, that they can replace God. But it's showing you the great deception of how he's basically boasting against the knowledge of the Lord. And the majority of the world is going right along with it, is what we're showing you. All right. From now, let's get Revelations 12 and 9. This is Revelation chapter 12, verse 9. And that great dragon which was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. See that? This is what he does. He deceives the whole world. And when it says that great dragon was cast out, that's been a misteaching in plantation Christianity when it talks about in the beginning. Okay, Michael and the angels was fighting against Satan, his angels, and he got kicked out like that. No, that's a future event. That's metaphorical also, okay, in the spiritual realm. Okay, you got Michael, the archangel, which will be doing battle against the armies, the people of, say, Esau, the UN armies, and things of that nature. Okay, so verse 9 is the key though. And that great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. Okay, that's the point. It's showing you his deception. He deceives the whole world. All right, let's go to Matthew 24. What is it? 24th verse now. Okay, this was a breakdown in the last days. The Lord was telling his disciples what to look for. They asked a question. Okay, he had told them 70 AD was coming when the destruction of the temple. And also they asked him, well, when is the temple going to be destroyed? And when is the end of this age, this current world's rulership? Okay, but this is one of the things that the Lord told him when he was running down some of the things to look for in the last days. Matthew 24, verse 24. And there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, inasmuch that if it were possible, they should deceive the very elect. See that? So another thing this devil would be able to do through his technology, sorcery, witchcraft, would be able to do such miracles. Okay, we gave an example through the science, through the technology, that the majority of the world is going to fall for it. Only people who's not going to go for it are going to be the elect of the children of Israel. Okay, I'm going to read that again. For there shall arise false Hamashiachs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders. Those great signs and wonders are the deception, through the sorcery, the technology, science. Inasmuch that if it were possible, see, if it was possible, they should deceive the very elect. See, but it's not possible to deceive us of the elect. Okay, the Lord is going to always, as we read pre-adventure, he opens your eyes. He opens your eyes to the sorcery, to be able to see past the lies, to see past their narrative, to see past the smoke and mirrors. Okay, that's the job of the Holy Spirit. But we can be, in these scriptures, the Lord giving us the understanding to see and break down, be able to interpret the times based on the prophecy that we're reading about. Okay, that's the only way to see past, don't fall for the sorcery, not to be deceived. All right. Matter of fact, let me get that. Ephesians 1:17, I believe. One moment. Okay, Ephesians chapter 1. Let's pick it up at 16. Cease not to give thanks for you, making mention of you in my prayers, that the God of our Lord Yahushua Mashiach, the Father of glory, may give unto you the spirit of wisdom and revelation in the knowledge of him. Okay, so the Lord has to give us the spirit of wisdom and revelation. Verse 18, listen. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you may know what is the hope of his calling and what is the riches of his glory, of his eternal inheritance to the saints, and what is the exceeding greatness of his power toward us who believe, according to the working of his mighty power, which he wrought in Yahushua, which he raised him from the dead and set him in his own right hand at the heavenly places. Okay, so this is the only way, verse 18, that we can see through the deception. The eyes of your understanding being enlightened, that you may know what is the hope of his calling and what is the riches glory of the inheritance of the saints. So the Lord has to open your eyes to see past the delusion or the deception. All right. As not, I want to go back to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 8. Because this is where the majority of the world falls under right here. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse, I'm going to read 8 again. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8. Then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with his spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming, even him whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power, signs, and lying wonders. See, that's going back into their technology, their science, their sorcery, witchcraft. Verse 10, listen carefully. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them which perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For this cause Yahweh shall send them strong delusion, that they should believe a lie. See that? So if they refuse the truth, or the Lord hasn't opened up their eyes to receive the true understanding, this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, then they've been given over to the great delusion. They've been given over to the deception of Satan, that they shall believe the lie. Verse 12, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth. See, they couldn't receive the true testimony, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. But verse 13, okay, this is going back to us, the elect, okay, who the Lord has opened our eyes. But we are bound to give thanks always to Yahweh for you, brethren beloved of the Lord, because he had from the beginning chosen you to salvation through sanctification of the Spirit and belief in the truth. Okay, verse 14, let me finish it up. Wherefore he called you by our gospel to the obtaining of the glory of our Lord Yahweh Shah Mashiach. Therefore, brethren, stand fast and hold the traditions which ye have been taught, whether by word or by epistle. And that's the key. Otherwise, you will be deceived by this great deceiver. You will be deceived by the devil. Okay, his philosophies, the world's understanding, the world's religion. Okay, the only way is to hold fast, as we just read, to sound doctrine, talking about the Bible. All right, let's get Second Corinthians. Let me go with that. 2 Corinthians chapter 11 and 4. All right. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I'm going to pick it up at 1. 2 Corinthians 11 and 1. Would to Yahweh ye could bear with me a little in my folly, and indeed bear with me, for I am jealous over you with a godly jealousy. For I have espoused you to one husband, that I may present you as a chaste virgin into a Mashiach. Why? Because as the bride, as the believers, the saints, that's who we married to spiritually. We're married to Yahweh Shah. Okay, that's the body, that's the church. It makes up a spiritual marriage. Verse 3, listen carefully. But I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, you're talking about his deception, so shall your minds be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahweh Shah. Okay, so this is showing you his greatest deception is to corrupt our minds from the simplicity that's in Yahweh Shah. See, the truth of the gospel is supposed to be simple. Who the children of Israel is, who the Lord our King is, who he died for, who he came to redeem, and how he's going to return and put our adversaries and enemies in captivity. Okay, that's the simplicity of Yahweh Shah. But the next verse is letting you know this great deceiver, his job is to deceive you with doctrine. His job is to deceive you with world science and technology over the knowledge of the Lord. Verse 3, but I fear lest by any means, as the serpent beguiled Eve through his subtlety, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Yahweh Shah. Verse 4, listen carefully. For if he that cometh preacheth another Yahweh Shah, whom we have not preached, or if ye receive another spirit, which we have not received, or another gospel, which we have not accepted, ye might well bear with him. So if somebody come preaching another doctrine, another spirit, or anything other than contrary sound words or doctrine from the scriptures, say contend with that person, okay? Reject them and contend with them with the truth, the scriptures. Now let's look at another example. Let's jump over to verse 13 to show you what this is talking about. Verse 13, for such are false apostles, deceitful workers, transforming themselves into the apostles of Yahweh Shah. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. See that? That's why we tied the Great Deceiver. What higher or greatest deception for the devil himself to come in the form of religion or salvation? See? And this is the brand of salvation or Christianity, I say, which has been presented to the world. Okay, with the lie, the twist of the devil mixed with it. Verse 14 again, and no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if his ministers also be transformed into ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their work. So just like Satan, the devil himself, this showing you his ministers. He has many ministers that's been sent out to do his bidding, to twist the scriptures, to twist the gospel. All right? Let's go to Revelation 17 now. This is Revelations. Let me see. Before I get that though, I want to get Revelations 13. This is Revelations 13. And I'm gonna pick it up at 11. Revelation 13, 11. And I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, which had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. Okay, those two horns like a lamb is showing you both sides of this devil, how he plays the field. Okay, one horn is kind of like almost like his political system, for example. Okay, Democrat, Republican. Okay, but they're both one and the same. Okay, it's just a higher form of deception. Two horns on a lamb, like he coming from different angles, but it's all one and the same. All right. Verse 12, and he exercised all the power of the first beast before him, and he caused the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man. Verse 14, listen carefully. And deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that they should make an image to the beast, which had been wounded by the sword and did live. So verse 14 is showing you once again the miracles. Verse 13, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of man, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles. Okay, so this is going back into the deception, the miracles through the technology. Okay, that fire coming down from heaven would be his technology in World War II and things he was able to do. Okay, with atom bombs and the Hiroshima bombing and things of that nature. That was the first time the world saw something like that. They perceived it to be miracles. Fire coming down from heaven. So what we're doing through the Bible, we're just linking it up, showing you how the deception, the greatest form of deception he would be able to use would be through his science, his technology, and also even on the religious side of it. From a spiritual aspect, he would also deceive what the world considers to be Christianity, the Bible. The Bible is pure, but the virgin that he's presented to the world is a distorted virgin, Babylonian virgin. That's what we're going to read now. This is Revelation 17, and I'll go ahead and pick it up in 1. And there came one of the 7 angels which had the 7 vials, which talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, and I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters, which whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So this great whore, this woman that it's referring to, is the mystery daughter of Babylon. Okay, but also with this woman is a false doctrine. And that's what we're getting into now. I'm showing you that doctrine is oftentimes, according to the Bible, referred to as a woman, or a metaphor to be a woman. Okay, even wisdom, as we're going to see, wisdom is also referred to often as a her or a she, a woman. So you got good information or information from the Lord, wisdom, which is referred to as a she or a woman. Then you also, on the left-hand side, you got false information, false doctrine, philosophies, which is also considered a she, a woman. All right, so this is verse 3 again. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of the names of blasphemy, and having 7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of the abomination and filthiness of her fornication. That's the point I want to focus on. Okay, there's her and what this her brought or had with her. Okay, along with this woman, the point is, in her hand, this cup of abominations and fornications, meaning everything that's contrary or opposed to the knowledge of God. All right, verse 5. And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. See, so with this woman comes abominations and false doctrine, lies, is the point we're showing. Now let's go to, let's get Proverbs, I believe it's 5:1. This is Proverbs. Okay, Proverbs 5:1. I'll start at 5:1. My son, attend unto my wisdom, and bow thy ear to my understanding, that thou mayest regard their discretion, and that thy lips may keep knowledge. For the lips of a strange woman drop as a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil. So once again, in the scriptures, and specifically this scripture here, chapter, when it's referring to a woman, now this could be twofold. We could be talking about the physical woman, a harlot, that which a man should stay away from. But even on a deeper level, once again, this woman represents false information, false knowledge, okay? Things that's contrary to the knowledge of God. Okay, so verse 3, for the lips of a strange woman drop like a honeycomb, and her mouth is smoother than oil, for her end is bitter as wormwood and sharp as a two-edged sword. Her feet go it down to death, and her steps take hold of hell, lest thou should plunder the path of life. Her ways are movable, that thou canst not know them. Hear me now, therefore, O ye children, and depart not from the words of my mouth. Remove thy way far from her, and come not to the door of her house, lest thou give thy honor unto others and thy years to the cruel one. All right, that's one example. Now let's get Proverbs 7:1 now. My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my laws as the apple of thy eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them upon the table of thy heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister. See that? That's the point I wanted. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister. So it's referring to wisdom as a her. My sister, showing you wisdom can be considered a woman. And also on the left-hand side, false information and things that's contrary to the Lord is also false doctrine is considered a woman. Okay? So verse 4 again, say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman, that they may keep thee from the strange woman, talking about false information or false doctrine now, from the stranger, which flattereth with her words, because that's how false information or doctrine is. Some of it sounds good. It seems good. A lot of the false information of this world is like that. It may appeal to certain aspects of your senses or certain parts of your understanding, but the end of it is death is what it's showing you. Okay, if you continue on the path of listening to this or feeding your spirit, that's why the Bible tells us to guard our hearts and minds. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. See, so we have to be very careful that we don't fall for this devil devices. Matter of fact, get that real quick. 2 Corinthians 2:11. 2 Corinthians 2:11. So that's what we got to watch for. Make sure we following the information or the doctrine, the pure doctrine, not false doctrine, or what the title of the lesson is. Don't fall for the great deception of the devil, which he's pushed on this whole earth. All right, get that real quick.
2 Corinthians chapter 2, verse 11. Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices.
See that? For we are not ignorant of his devices. See? Otherwise, he's going to get an advantage over us. Like we read earlier, 2 Corinthians 11:3. See? But less, and roughly paraphrasing, but say, lest you be deceived or beguiled, such as the serpent, how he beguiled or deceived Eve. See? And that's this devil's whole job. That's why he's considered the great deceiver. Okay, the greatest form of deception, or the highest level of deception, would be for him to try to put himself in the position of God, to be falsely worshipped as God. Okay, this is what we're showing. From there, let me see. I just had some. I'm gonna go ahead and continue with 7. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and keep reading with 7. So, Proverbs 7. I'm gonna pick it up at 5 again. That they may keep thee from this strange woman, from the stranger which flattered with her words, talking about that false doctrine. For at the window of my house I looked through my chestnut, and behold, among the simple ones, I discern among the youths a young man void of understanding. So he didn't have the proper understanding, okay? Passing through the street near her corner, and he went the way of her house in the twilight, in the evening, in the black and dark night. And behold, there met him a woman with an attire of a harlot, with a subtle heart. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in the house. Now she is without, now in the street, and lied in wait at every corner. She called and kissed him, and with an impenitent face she said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day I have paid my vows. Therefore come forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thy face. And I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings, accessories, and with covered works, and refined linen of Egypt. I have performed my bed with myrrh, of those with cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love into the morning. Let us suffice ourselves with loves. For the good man is not at home. He is gone on a long journey. He had taken a bag of money with him, and he will come again at the day appointed. With her much fair speech, see that? Verse 21. With her much fair speech, that's that false information, worldly wisdom. With her much fair speech, she caused him to yield. He listened. He listened to this false information. With the flattering of her lips, she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as a ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks, till a dart strike through his liver, and as a bird hasten it to the snare, and know it not that it is for his life. So it's showing you what happens when you go after this woman. You follow after this woman, her false information, her philosophy, worldly wisdom. See, all of a sudden, he know not to, like a dart to the heart or the liver of an ox till it's too late. Meaning that judgment, you went on, you trusted in this false information that was contrary to the words of the Lord, and eventually, boom, it backfires. Certain amount of time, it backfires is what it's short. Verse 25, let not thy heart decline to her ways. See, this letting you know this is talking about a doctrine of understanding. Don't go after her ways. Go not astray unto her paths, for she had cast down many wounded. Yea, many strong men have been slain of her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. See that? So when you follow after this information, put aside the knowledge of the Lord, and you follow worldly wisdom, the deception of this devil, this is what it's showing you what it leads to. Okay, her house goes down to the chambers of death. Okay, and a quick precept to prove that, let's get Proverbs 21:16. Showing you what happens when you follow after this information. While I'm getting at it, give me Ephesians 4:14. And Cameron, give me Genesis 3. This is Proverbs 21, verse 16. The man that wandereth out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. See that? So when you follow this woman, it say many dead are there. Her house leads down to the chambers of hell. So it's letting you know this woman is talking about following is an understanding of philosophy. And right here, we just showed you the precept of those chambers of hell, a depth that following this woman lead to. I'm going to read it one more time. The man that wandered out of the way of understanding. See, we talking about a mind frame, a doctrine. If you lead an understanding of the Lord, the man that wandered out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead. The same congregation of the dead that we just read in Proverbs while following this woman leads you. All right? Get what I told you?
Ephesians chapter 4.
Ephesians 4, verse 14.
Ephesians chapter 4, verse 14. That we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine.
See, that we be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. See? Don't be like little kids, believing everything. Everything you hear, everything you hear, you perceive it to be true. Okay, but the point is showing you, it's talking about doctrine. Be not little kids tossed to and fro, believing every wind of doctrine. Don't go after the doctrine of this woman. That's what it's showing you. Don't go after the ways of this world. Don't fall for the deception that's been cast over this whole world. Matter of fact, let me get that precept. Isaiah 25 and 7. I'm going to get 1 John 5 and 19 first. This is 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. And we know that we are of Yahweh, and the whole world lieth in